hit live right
Get
now.
that live.
We are live. What's going on? That guy over there, his name is Pedro. My name is Hannibal. Welcome to the live. Props to Pedro and Hector for holding it down. I guess my first
Uh,
thing is I should apologize. I
nah, bro,
I
you
did not.
good.
I was doing a live, and be honest, usually what I do is if there is going to be a live on my channel, especially when it comes to covering the the woman that helps me pay my bills,
Yeah.
the woman that helps me pay the rent. She does a monthly board meeting. Usually, I say, and it's always on Mondays, the first Monday of the month. She's supposed to be doing twice a month. She does it. She does, only does it the
I feel
first
like, yeah,
Monday.
like months ago she was doing two, right? And she
Right.
stopped doing that.
She don't give a fuck.
You
So
know why? You know why she don't give
right.
a fuck.
So that's the big, and I haven't done lives on the channel in a while. I was like, it's been a while. I'm not that busy. I was like, you know what? Let me do that. But I also thought this has happened before where I would do the live and then come and do the show here at 10. I didn't know that the meeting was going to be 3-4 hours. So I think by the time I ended, you guys finished.
Okay,
So I
yeah, okay.
appreciate Hector
We
for
have
coming
fun,
in.
man. We had a good time. It
Yeah,
was
we gotta
good.
bring
It was
him
good.
in. Maybe like if he's busy. I know he does his live streams
I
and
think he would probably like that every once in a while. He's big into the sports and all that. So I think we could probably have a good
yeah,
convo with him.
and because you and Hector had your time to talk about glizzy and glizzy
Yeah.
eating.
Yeah.
Me and him still have this. I hope he remembers this. That we need to spend a whole episode. I guess Pedro, you can show up if you want to, about the impact Jeremy Lin had on the NBA landscape. Because I want to talk about that. I think me and him have that connection. I think
Yes.
a lot of Knicks fans have that connection, except Pedro. He's not a Knicks fan.
No.
The phenomenon that was
We
Jeremy
touched on
Lin.
it. We talked about it for a little bit, but I think you and him need to have that because I think the perspective that you have is different than me, and
Right, you're a
I
hater.
think that conversation can go in different
Yeah,
ways that I can't go with him. You know what I mean?
yeah, because you're a hater. You
Yeah,
think he wasn't that good.
100% right. I am a hater, 100%. My connection with Hector is strictly glizzies, and you guys have yours is based in a much more finer,
Well, obviously he's from New York, and he still has that true fanatic. The Knicks are going to go all the way type. All the Giant. Well, I think he's
yeah,
even
yeah,
not saying the Giants are going to do anything, but you know what I mean. Like the Knicks are going to do great, which is great. In terms of how the New York teams are doing well. Hopefully Aaron Rodgers can do something for the Jets this year. At least make them a respectable team. So like you want New York teams to do well. Actually, I saw this. We call it. We call it live. We call it shorts, reels, TikTok, whatever.
what's it on Facebook and TikTok? What's
I
the
think it was
shit?
on YouTube. All these
They're all the
videos are the
same.
same. The
Yeah,
horizontal thing
yeah.
about Shaq when he was watching basketball when he was young. How his father would show him, like Wilt Chamberlain, and,
Mm,
Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, and he's watching these guys, and he's
yeah,
like,
yeah.
these guys are cool, but the guy that he watched that he wanted to emulate or at least look up to in terms of his game, he was watching this center from Georgetown, Patrick Ewing,
Oh
and
yeah.
how he was physical and he ran the court and he just seemed so dominant. And I never heard him talk about it, but I appreciate that because
Mm.
no one really talks a lot about Patrick Ewing. He kind of got in the shuffle with, Akeem and obviously Shaq, but he was like, I want to play like Patrick. He said the one time that he felt intimidated when he was a rookie was playing against Patrick Ewing. Is that crazy?
Mm.
I mean, people
It-
forget
it-
how dominant Patrick Ewing is the reason why everyone cared anything about the Knicks at that point.
Yeah, Patrick Ewing doesn't get enough credit. I think part of the reason why I want to get your take on this is being obviously a New Yorker and a Knicks fan and watching him sweat at the foul line. Like, right, it was
He
just
sweat a
amazing.
lot. That Jamaican
But
sweat, man.
if you think about it's different probably. If you think about the other great centers, and the center position at that time was probably
Yeah,
the most prevalent. Maybe it's been like there was a lot of great centers. You mentioned Shaq, Alonzo, David Robinson,
yeah,
Hakeem, Ewing, right? I think all the other ones have a championship. He doesn't.
yeah,
So
yeah.
I think part of it is that, and I know he got to the finals, right? But they lost to who? The Spurs or whoever they
The
lost
Spurs
to.
99. The
Yeah,
yeah,
that's when Duncan was a rookie, I think, right? So
yeah.
I think that might be it because his numbers are there, but he never won a chip.
Yeah, he got
You know?
his Hall of Fame. He got his flowers. I know he's into coaching.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's coaching right now. I know he was doing some college stuff. But, it's always great to hear that because in New York is Patrick was a great big deal for us. And I remember just like a couple of years ago, I brought his sneakers again because I think you can still buy the UN sneakers. I like how they look. It's like a high top.
Are they Reebok? Are they Reebok? Who was it? Who made
I
those?
don't
Or were
remember
they?
what. Like I don't know if he has his own. Like I don't know if he owns that patent of that
Yeah,
design,
I
but I
can't
think you
remember.
can buy Patch Ewan sneakers, and
Yeah.
I like them. They look cool.
Yeah.
And there's one
For
of
high
those,
tops. Yeah.
right. I love high top sneakers. So,
Yeah.
just I appreciate that. When you think about that. But before we go back into some of the, I don't know if you've been checking out some of the Olympic stuff, but
A little bit. Yeah.
there was
Yeah.
something I did this weekend, and I don't think I didn't talk. Maybe I mentioned it, but maybe I did. Let me see if I can. Let's see.
Did you go swimming this weekend?
No,
Oh, okay.
something. I need to learn to swim. I told you that, but you don't want to help me out. So I registered. My mother did this first, and she talked about it, and she was like, I had a good time, and I did it, and I'm like, that's kind of cool. It was the New York, because in New York City, you need to pass a concealed carry class before you can apply for your permit to conceal carry. Last year, the Supreme Court kind of made this announcement by saying, the government cannot infringe on your rights to conceal carry. So throughout the entire country, you're as long as you apply, you can conceal carry. So my mom found this class, and she went. It was in Queens, and basically this weekend, me and the missus went to learn, I guess, to pass this concealed carry class.
Okay.
And I learned a lot. I learned a lot in this class. I'll say that. Listen, that makes sense. That's probably true.
It does. It does.
When I learned about New York City law in terms of concealed carry, don't bother. Don't take the gun anywhere. Keep the gun at home. You can't take the gun anywhere.
But you guys have, don't you guys have like the strictest laws on guns?
Absolutely. Thank you. Right. Great transition.
Right. Yeah.
So by just listening to him talk about what you can do and what you can't do with this gun, you can't take this gun to a restaurant. You can't take this gun to a protest, any gathering of human beings. You can't take this gun there, right?
You can, but if you get caught,
you get caught. You violating the law. Yeah. Basically, in the car, you can't have it holstered. So you have to have the car. You have to have the gun unloaded with the magazine in a different part of the car. So you can't have it holstered.
What's the point of having it then? What's the point of having it?
That's what I'm trying to. That's why I had at the end of it. I'm like, so what is the point of this? So they knew that New York already knew that they were going to, people are going to be able to do this, and have this right. And they came with all this. You can't take it to the subway. You can't take it to the no subway, no bus, no restaurant, no arenas. Anywhere that serves alcohol.
You can't have it on the street either. What about on the street? Can you have it on your body?
You can have it on the street.
Walking.
Yeah, if you're outside.
Okay.
But if it's a protest or a parade, you cannot have that gun. You cannot have it. You can have it. You can't go anywhere where they serve alcohol. So how many places in New York City that serve alcohol? I mean, if you're in a bodega, they have alcohol. They may not serve it, but that means you probably can't go in it. So you can't take this gun. So that's why I learned. That was my biggest. I was like, you can't take this gun anywhere. What was the whole point of this? Like I said, what was the whole point? But what helps is if you decide to move apart, across the country, you can start applying for other concealed carry license. And the way they have this shit set up, it is so weird. So certain states will recognize your concealed carry. So it becomes like a game of Pokemon. You have to collect.
So hold on. If you go to Virginia, you're saying that Virginia might recognize your conceal and carry from NYC, and you're good to have it in Virginia, even though you don't have one in Virginia.
Yeah. So what you gotta do is apply for the concealed carry in Arizona or Virginia
or
and
somewhere.
They allow non-residents to have. So he recommend that you go to Florida, I think I forgot the other state. About Florida, Utah. There's a few states where if you have those concealed carry license, you can go to multiple states across the country because so you'll be able to conceal carry, and those laws and probably in those states are different. But you kind of like once you get yours here, you can apply for the one in Florida. I think it may have been Virginia or Pennsylvania. One of those where you can kind of bounce around and have it wherever you go.
Do you know this answer? Hector's asking, is NYC going to pass a new gun law? Do you know anything that's different now versus before?
During the class, they said something was happening. I did not follow it, so I can't even tell you. I think maybe they're trying to find a way to peel back a little bit. Now,
so you weren't paying attention to a class. You probably should have been, but you weren't.
Well, they said, I think it was like, oh, something's happening Monday because I did this last weekend. I did not check out what happened. So maybe they did something. Maybe it didn't.
Yeah.
Creasy Glizzy is a hot dog.
Hot dog.
Well, you thought it was.
Who knows? But we had a contest Monday. Go watch the replay. It was fun.
But yeah.
So let me ask you a question. Is this has this hindered you from getting and owning a gun because you can't take it to certain places, or are you still going to do it to have home protection and then on the dog walks or walk-in or whatever? Like, are you still going to go through the process, or are you like, nah, I'm good, I can't even go to bodega, even though the guys in the bodegas have weapons? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you can apply for license for have a gun in your place of business, so you could do that legally. It's a little annoying, but at the same time, it's good to have. First of all, I spend way too much money on this. I had to spend a lot of money for
the class. Really?
Yeah, it was worth it though. I mean, I think just to start on that, ability to exercise the Second Amendment, I think is extremely important. But also, it's not just the fact about the gun stuff that I found, and I guess interesting or informative. Just the way he explained it. This guy, I forgot his name. Oh, Dave. He's a cop himself. He gave us a really mature, honest response, or at least a talk to about having a gun. You're not John Wick. You're not going to jump in and save the day. He basically saying like it's more of an inconvenience that you have this on you because and he said it in New York State, if you shoot somebody, even if it's justified, you're screwed. And I'm sure you check out the news here. We're so restrictive. We don't have stand your ground laws here. So in Florida, you can stand your ground and you can have a justified shooting and be fine. We don't have that. We have to retreat. So even if I go somewhere and there's people shooting, I can't just start take out my gun and start trying to help the situation. If I want to, unless it's about protecting my family or myself in a life or death situation, he used the metaphor of the Shark Tank, right? Where if you dropped your phone in this Shark Tank, would you go get your phone?
No,
like hell no. Like but if your kid fell in there, you would jump in the Shark Tank. So like
that's a good point.
Right. So like you're not just going to have this gun and do whatever you want. Basically, if you take this gun out and shoot it, you have a lot of issues. So
Hannibal? What's the saying? I'd rather be judged by 12 than carried by 6. Right?
Yeah.
Isn't it so if you live in a spot where you feel like, hey, I might need this to protect myself or my family, then obviously exercising your Second Amendment seems logical and seems smart. But if it's going to be like, well, I feel like I might have this gun and I might get in trouble because I might use it when I shouldn't, and I might get caught with it if I'm going here, then it's not worth it, right? I mean, in Missouri, I could get a gun tomorrow.
I know you guys. It's a big difference, and and he was saying some really common sense stuff. Like if you are going to a place that you think you may need a gun, why are you there in the first place? So like even for me, there's not. I mean, I live in the spot I live is pretty chill, so I just want to have one. Obviously, I said exercise my rights as Second Amendment. Obviously, protect the home. I mean, Dave, this guy was he had that prepper mindset. You know about the preppers, the doomsday preppers?
Yeah.
So he's like, he has a gun in it and reach in different rooms. He's also telling us, hey guys, you guys need to know how many calories you have stored in your home in case of, because I'm sure you guys are feeling it. You're feeling that there's something happening
I
and
know
things may
we've
go
gone through
wrong.
this though. We've gone through this in the last 20 years. I feel we did it with the Y2K. Remember that?
Yeah.
We were younger then. But I'll say this. I don't know about you. Shout out to the dogs. I don't know about you, but I am not prepared at all. It's something,
Me too. It's over.
We got no canned goods. We got canned goods to last us a couple days, maybe.
Yeah, we're screwed.
I don't got a whole bunch of flashlights. I got one. I don't have a whole bunch of batteries. I got maybe 10 upstairs. Like, we don't have things that a lot of other of the doomsday preppers have.
Right.
And I think they're smart for doing that. I think some of them take a little overboard, but
yeah,
clearly if something happens, for me, I think the one thing that I think about now, only because it's, who knows, the power grid. That's the thing that scares me more than anything.
Yeah,
if
that's
the power
true.
grid went down, that would be like, I'm not prepared. What would I do? Who do I know that's prepared? Who would I surround myself with? You know what I mean? I think you got to have that in your mind, but yeah, I'm not prepared. I don't have any firearms at all. I don't know if I ever will have one. And it's funny because you live in a spot where you want to have that, right? As an option for you.
Yeah.
And they make it very difficult. And I'm in a spot where I can go get a gun tomorrow and it would be very easy. It might take, maybe it's a couple days, but the process would be easier, and I don't have the need for one,
Right. I mean, you I know your hands are registered for weapons, but
Facts.
for the rest of us,
Facts.
yeah, I'm not prepared at all. In the chat, you guys, if you are not able to order from Uber Eats tomorrow,
what would happen?
If you're not able to go outside to get your goods, how much food do you have in your home that will you can, and how long would you survive? So for me, maybe a week. Until we start getting really irritated with each other. Probably maybe a week or two. Maybe.
You think a week? You could last a week right now?
Well, the problem is, once you realize that you cannot get food, everyone has to eat less. So the amount of calories you're going to eat is going to start to decrease. May start losing weight. You may start getting very irritable. So no, I don't think I have it where I can eat great. But if I had to eat some old, so I made my kid this really old, not old, it was not old, but it was like a box of mac and cheese that he hates, the one with the powdered in it. Didn't want to eat it. But I made him maybe he's like, this is garbage. I'm like, come on, it tastes fine to me. But you know what I mean? So I got old boxes of stuff that's preserved that no one wants to touch. But no, I'm not prepared. And I kind of have that mindset like you may have, whereas if shit hits the fan, I'm screwed. I'm in. I have 5 million people here. How am I getting out? Where am I going?
Yeah, I think you would be. I think in New York City, I think you might struggle more than me for other outlier reasons that are out of your control, right?
Yeah.
Just because the amount of people that live there, condensed, very close to one another. People would be, looting at a different rate than they would in St. Louis. It's something I think about. I've been seeing videos pop up and people talk about things, and it's something that
Doomsday Prepping YouTube does very well. It does I saw it even before
because people things that scare people do well. Some of these guys that have channels, they sell courses and they sell this survival books, and it's a little, I get it, but actually, it wouldn't take much. I think even if you went out and spent $200 on stockpiles of food, right? They don't go old quick, and you put them in your basement or you put them somewhere in your garage. That would be extremely helpful for you and your community, even your neighbors, but it's something that I don't think about. I feel like if it were to go down, it is what it is. It's just, you're going to have to figure it out, but I don't know. I try not to think about the negative too much, but I think being prepared is obviously important. I'm just not prepared.
Yeah.
And, I think based on what might happen in the next couple of years, I think some of us are going to start having to get prepared, possibly. People have been talking about a World War III for a while, and who knows, it could be. I wouldn't be surprised if something like that happened in our very soon lifetime, and it's something to think about, but.
I did Chicky Chops. Apparently you're from upper west side of Manhattan. Now you live in Florida. I'm sure you're enjoying the move.
Yeah,
right. The big must be enjoying Florida. Steffi said maxed out her Big Lots card with canned goods. Anyone can get one. You can do that's simple stuff. I love canned food.
Yeah,
I was raised on canned food. I know, my son is so bougie. It has to be a special stuff. He The stuff, the beefaroni. I survived many of nights
Dude,
with
beefaroni.
beefaroni.
Oh, listen, I can eat that shit cold, bro. No problem.
I could probably eat it cold. I like it
Yeah,
hot, but I can eat it cold.
I've
Yeah,
had a drunken night where I pop that bitch open cold and eat it, and it tastes just
I could probably
cold
eat
pasta.
it. Yeah, I could eat
it's
it.
good.
And then I started putting like a bunch of dumps hot sauce on it.
Oh yeah, cheese,
That
extra
beefaroni,
cheese, all that stuff.
you
Yeah.
can't give my son back. He like, what is this?
Really?
He, he's bougie. I don't know where he's from.
I mean, you're a little bougie. You're not that bougie.
Listen,
you're bougie
the
adjacent, bro. You're bougie.
Yeah,
adjacent.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
The Campbell's chicken noodle soups, like I was because that's what my parents, they worked early in the morning. They came, when I came home from school, there was no meal. I had to make, open that can, put it in the microwave, eat it. Pia, with the question, do you think Kamala will win?
You answer that first.
It's possible. I know everyone is writing it off because of how late everything is and how there's a lot of clips of Kamala looking silly and but it's possible.
I think there's clips of everybody. I think the four people, the Waltz, Harris, JD Vance, Trump, there's clips of all these guys saying something weird or stupid 20 years ago or 20 months ago. So I think that's just kind of like commonplace when you're out and the camera's in your face a lot.
And I think the polls are, this is close.
This is going to be, I think the Waltz thing might come over the edge.
Right. So
I think it might actually.
People are saying, you know what, Trump should have it. He was doing pretty well. I know a lot of Trump supporters wish that Biden stayed in because it would have been an easier victory.
I agree.
But I don't know.
Look at this comment. What do you think about this? What do you think about that? Because there's the Simpsons, man. I don't know. That shit's real, man. They predicted a lot of things.
That's what I'm saying. Like you have to get the independents, the people in the middle, to say, you know what, let's go with Trump.
They have to get guys like you and I and others. And I'm undecided, if I'm being honest at this point. I don't know who I would vote for right now today. I just don't.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah. I'm not sure.
It really depends on. I want to see the debate and how that works because Kamala is not great at debating. We're seeing her debate. She's not good at it. So if he jumps in, doesn't try to be too aggressive, but just, and I actually like the Trump where he was with the Biden one. He could have destroyed Biden every time Biden just looked ridiculous. He did. He
seemed like he took a step back. He seemed like he was like not wanting to pick on him like he did before.
Right. Exactly. Because the last debate in 2020, he was way too aggressive. Didn't let it, he was too aggressive. He needed take a step back, let Biden trip over himself. You don't need to go and beat his head in. Just let him talk. I think that's so. If they can do that, then things will go well. The vice president stuff, I don't think it ever matters. I know right now everyone's talking about the Minnesota governor and how he's a bit of a progressive, right? If you're in rideshare, you kind of already know what Minnesota was already doing. So it's interesting. The one time he decides to veto, man, never veto anything.
Yeah.
But he did veto that situation with trying to pay drivers some more money. So you kind of already know where he's at. Listen, all these politicians are about who's backing them.
They're
corporations. Who runs the country? Corporations. So we'll see.
I think the Vance Waltz one will be interesting because they share some commonality with being veterans and things, but everything else about them is so different. And the Waltz guy, he's a firecracker, man. He's out there. He's loud. He's very passionate. Yeah. And I think Vance is kind of like that. So that's going to be an interesting one. I'm interested to see how that goes. But for me, I need to do some deep dives, I guess. And I don't want to, but I think I need to just to be a little more up to date on certain policies. And then my vote will have to go. I don't even know if I might not vote for either. It might be somebody else. I don't know. But at the end of the day,
but it's always about what's important to you. What the issues are, and we all have a different what's important. If gig work is important, there may be a choice that you pick. And I think that's why a lot of gig workers gravitate towards Trump because of if you're more of a pro business or at least entrepreneur, he's going to not have so many regulations compared to
that would help us. Right. Yeah.
Exactly. So
it's a good point.
if you care about immigration, again, there's one that's obviously is going to do it differently than the other. You care about social programs, keeping Obamacare, those type of social programs you make. So it's all about what you are.
Yeah.
What's important to you. So I think you should. I think you should vote, Pedro. At first, I think you should get a gun. You should get a gun because I'm gonna get one. We need to have. We can make this a gun.
Or should we get matching guns with like the Pedro and Hannibal podcast logo on the button?
So there's another thing too.
Anybody want to sponsor that? It's a good idea. If somebody wants to buy me,
gun YouTube makes money. All these other, YouTube
channels. What is it called? The A2 community? Is that right? A2, right?
A2 or just people who are really fascinated, obsessed with guns.
Like women shooting guns is what you're talking about.
Well, that's always good. I mean, those are good. I'm a fan of those too. But just like a regular dude that wants to talk to you about his Glock, or he's telling you the difference between different types of pistols, different types of shotguns. Yeah, they do very well. But yeah, I listen. A woman, for some reason, laying on a prone position, shooting a really powerful rifle.
That doesn't do it for me. I don't know why. No, I've seen a couple. It's not my thing.
The only guns, man.
Those videos were really big in like the 80s and early 90s. They'd have like the infomercials and the women in the bikinis with the American flag.
I remember those. What were they selling? The guns? Like what?
I have no idea. I think sometimes I see those commercials and it would pan out to like a beef jerky company or some bull. It was something weird. You know what I mean? But
did you watch the movie Jackie Brown? You remember?
I like that movie. Yeah.
So that
scene where she's watching
right? Yeah. So like, it depends. Like for concealed carry, you can't walk around with the biggest pistol. It just because it's concealed carry. So
yeah,
you're not if it's just covered, you can still get in trouble.
Yeah.
So it has to be where someone if I looked at you and you had your gun and I can't tell, like legit can't tell, it then is concealed. Any other way, like it's a big bulge coming out of your side of your pants or whatever, that's not concealed.
Well, you're opening up the lines of little one-line zingers too easy when you talk about that. But listen, I think we're talking about doomsday and stuff. I think having protection is probably the one reason that we should have a gun, because when shit hits the fan, if it does, you want to be able to protect your family. You don't want if looters are coming to your home because they can't get whatever or they're trying to get shelter, and you need to be able to protect your family. So I think having a gun for me in that situation makes sense. In my everyday life, I don't feel like I need it, but I get the point. You rather have it and not need it than need it and not have it, right?
Well, yeah, I think you should at least, since we all have to have permits and cards, if, for instance, you may need to carry this, not necessarily I'm waiting for something to happen, but you can at least leave your house and transport it or have it holstered. And also, there's also lots of different ways to protect your home without necessarily having a gun. I mean, I don't know if you have the baseball bat in the house.
I have a machete.
Oh, you got a machete? I got a metal baseball bat.
That works. Really I legit have a machete that I could probably not chop somebody's head off. I could chop somebody's arm off if I needed to.
Right. Like you don't necessarily, and they can live through that, right? Unless you slice their neck off or their head off. It's like Christmas Story. I don't want to shoot myself. So
shoot your eye out.
Hector put the story about Plaxico Burress shooting himself in the leg at the club.
Oh my God.
So
with sweatpants, how do you have a gun in your pants and you're wearing sweatpants? That's weird. That's
the man didn't have a holster.
That's crazy.
If he had a holster, he would not have shot himself. Apparently, I didn't know this until the class. There are so many different types of holsters, different type of designs. There's obviously the leather ones that have different type of material. You can put them in the front, you can put them in the back. There's stuff where it's like a belt for women, because a lot of women don't necessarily wear a whole lot of, they don't like wearing a lot of clothes with belts and loops, where they can kind of wrap it around them like a belt with a holster on the side.
I've seen that.
So that dummy. You know what? I'm not disrespecting Plaxico Burress.
No, call him a dummy. It's fine. He's stupid. He had a gun without a holster in that situation in sweatpants. I mean, come on, man.
He could have shot everything off, but all he had to do was get a holster. Now, apparently, they sell holsters for sweatpants. I don't even understand how that works because.
Okay, let me ask you a question. So, what kind of holster would you get? Would you holster it and have a holster that's on your side, on your hip, or would you have one that's more if I would have one, I'd want one to where I can get it right here, like in my chest areas where I would.
The shoulder harness, those straps, badass.
That's what I would.
I mean, even he said it. He was like, "Those are badass." You know, walking around like it's Die Hard. You fucking John McClane. You're running through. But he said a lot of accidental shootings because when you grab it real quick from the shoulder, it says there's a lot of like, you know, mistakes may happen.
Sure.
The best one I think is probably on the hip.
You think so?
Probably on the waist. Maybe near the dingling, but I don't know if it'd be on. Let's say on the far.
So Cheeky Chops is an expert in it says no, you want a waistband. So I think he's kind of going on your point about that. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Cheeky Chops already said the shoulder holster is so.
Listen, I don't know what I'm talking about. Clearly.
Yeah, but no, I mean I know when you said it, I'm like, yeah, those are so. But the guy said it like they look great. They're not, I guess, functional. But maybe I'll just have it just to walk around. Don't put a gun in it. Just to have one.
He thinks he's Crockett. I love this. This is funny. That's hilarious.
I saw Die Hard with a Vengeance last night, just randomly.
Which one was that? Is that the third one?
That's the one with Samuel L. Jackson.
See, people don't like that one. I like that one.
Oh, I love that one.
I thought, but people don't like it. I feel like it's one of the lower. Yeah. I thought that was.
I like that more than Die Hard 2. I mean, like Die Hard, the first one, amazing. Die Hard 2, I don't remember. It's kind of like a what?
It was. I said 2 wasn't as good. I think they're on like a plane or some shit, right?
Yeah, I don't remember. Yeah. 3 was great.
3 was great. It was funny. It was
And Samuel Jackson was like weighted out of all the crazy shit that he was doing. Yeah, he's like, "What are you doing? You're gonna drive through a park? What's wrong?" Like he was like, "This is insane." And John McClane just like, "I'm just doing the usual Die Hard shit." And I think he had the shoulder harness.
Yes.
But yeah, I did appreciate the class. I think he brought it down to like reality of you want to make sure that you this is taking this responsibly, that you don't want to show off or show out. That if you're going to places, you don't want to make a scene. You don't want to have confrontations just because you have a gun to protect yourself. Like you actually want to avoid confrontations because the decision that those decisions that you can make can ruin your life and ruin someone else's life. Yeah. So it kind of, I don't think I was going to sit there and just pretend I'm like a badass or anything, but he brought it back to some reality. Like, if you're going to do this, he also said this was not enough training to do anything. Like you have to get your gun. All right, good. You got to go through that. It's kind of like driver's ed. Yeah, you drove enough to get a license, but you still have no idea how to drive.
Let me ask you a question. I don't know if I've asked you this. Have you shot a gun before?
No.
You haven't. So hold up. Between the two of us, you're the gun enthusiast, and I'm the only one that's actually shot a gun.
I had guns in my house. Like my father was in the Marines.
Okay.
So
you were around them, but you haven't fired one.
I never fired them. Like he had. Well, I guess it's a long time ago. Whatever. I'm sure it was illegally, but he had a definitely had a Glock and he had like a rifle. He had a 22 rifle. No, he had 9mm and like pistol, and he had a rifle. And I would, when he was not there, I would like open up and look at it. Okay. But I never fought. I didn't like.
So that's where the fascination started when you were a young boy.
I'm a man. Men love guns, Pedro. I know you're the only one that don't. I love guns. I've watched all the action movies. I've seen Commando with Arnold Schwarzenegger. He uses 35 different guns. Men love guns.
Listen, I think you're right. I think you're clearly right. I'm not a man. I don't like guns.
I didn't say that.
But between the two of us, I'm the only one that shot a gun. I've been to a gun range a few times, and I've shot a gun, the kickback, all that.
Yeah, I think apparently, if I want to shoot a gun without having like I have to go to Jersey. So there's a spot in Jersey where I can go to a range and not have any like license. You just go in there. Yeah. But he was giving me paranoid. He was like, "Yo, when you go to a range, look around because apparently a lot of accidents happen." He said, "When you go through a range, look behind you, like not where the target is. Turn around, and you may see bullet holes." I'm like, "What? Why the fuck the bullets going that way?" Like, because the people. So there is a manager. I think it's called a range officer. Check you. Let me know the correct term. And they always cranky, probably because they got to deal with the loss of potential loss of life because people don't know what they're doing half the time.
Right.
But apparently, and then some have dividers, some don't. And then when you see some of the dividers having bullet holes, you're like, so you said when you go check out And he says every time he's at the range and a new person walks in, he will kind of take a step back and observe to
Well,
see
I
these
think
red
that's
flags.
smart because anything can happen at any moment. Especially people that aren't used to handling weapons. Joe Buddy with the comment: "We need a Miami Vice reboot with PNH." Listen,
Well,
did
one
you
guy
ever?
doesn't have a gun and one does.
Did you see the Miami Vice movie with Colin Farrell and Jamie Foxx?
I didn't watch it. Was it good?
I like it. I've probably
Yeah.
seen that movie a few times. It's got a good soundtrack. It's actually pretty decent. You should check it
Yeah.
out. It's a good movie.
I'm a
Yeah, I
fan
like it.
of both actors. I have
It's good.
messages with
It's
both of
good.
them.
It's good.
But yeah, for me, I'm probably going to get probably a Glock, something small like that. If I can put in a holster. I want a revolver for some reason. Again, maybe this is my boyish dream.
Oh,
to have a
revolver's
revolver.
like it comes out on the side and you put like the 6 or 8 bullets.
Yeah,
One of those,
yeah.
Oh, that's like Dirty Harry kind of shit.
Oh,
Bro.
it's badass. Okay, yeah, maybe, you know what?
No,
Maybe this
revolver.
all
A revolver is badass just because of the look of it and how you have to load it. Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah, that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool.
And the one thing, revolvers they have a history of being reliable,
not jamming, right?
because Glocks can jam. They're setting me on the back.
Man, yeah. My buddy's got a revolver. Now that yep.
So Cheeky Chop says get a Glock 43, small Glock for concealment. Never get a revolver. Reloads it slow. Yeah, reloads it. Yeah, I mean, if I'm sitting there,
I mean, I guess if you're like somebody that's,
I'm like,
it depends on who you are. I'm not a criminal. I'm not a drug dealer, right? I don't need a gun. I just don't need one. But let me ask you this: so you started the process. You went to the course. You had to pay for this course. You went to the course, and you learned obviously some new information. So, what are the next steps? Are you going to continue this process? Are you going to get your Glock, or did this actually like put a stop to that for other reasons because now you feel like there's too many burdens?
Well, it's kind of like when you're trying to join a fraternity or you're trying to join an organization and you're already in. Like I've already spent a lot of money, so I gotta keep trying. So another thing too,
that makes sense.
Another thing too, is the limit to the rounds to concealed carry in New York City or New York is only 10 rounds. So the clip has to have 10. You can't walk around with some machine gun type of thing. So
look at this shit, Hector. I got Battlefield 3. Oh Lord, I don't even know what that means. That's how much of a
So the application process is a lot. They ask for your social media handles.
Really?
You have to have character references or some shit that needs to be notarized. You need to give them a lot of your information.
So in the event that Hannibal does something wild, they want to be able to track you better, or what's
they may not give you if they see me saying some wild shit on my Facebook or I guess YouTube, they'd be like, no, we're not giving you a concealed carry. So I'm assuming.
Let me ask you a question. With you living in a state that has the strictest gun laws, okay, and they do that for whatever reason, and I don't know why or if that's helped your city or not. I have no idea.
Yeah,
but safety, right?
Yeah.
Background checks, and a lot of the Democrats want that. Republicans feel like don't take my guns. Like whatever, it is what it is.
Yeah.
Do you feel like every state should have gun laws like yours, or do you feel like your state is doing too much?
I still believe in states' rights. So it's easy. I think even if you are the biggest, Second Amendment fan, I think a lot of if you care about the Constitution, I think at least in my view, states' rights are important. What happens in Texas should happen in Texas, but that doesn't necessarily mean you need to do the same thing in New York. I think if I really, really wanted to have the best of the Second Amendment, I probably should move, right? And the people who want to stay in a place where these laws are super restrictive, then let them stay, right? Same thing for everything else, the abortion laws, all that type of thing. Problem is that I'm stuck here for a variety of reasons.
Yeah.
But these laws are ridiculously restrictive. I don't think it necessarily is helping anything. But the same thing like where you are, right? Or not where you are, but in Illinois, Chicago, tons of gun violence.
Yeah.
They have very strict laws in Illinois.
Yeah.
The problem is over the next state over, those laws are not strict, and that's where the guns are coming. You know what I mean? So there's those things competing. So I'm sure if you're in Illinois and you want all this gun control, but you can literally go to Wisconsin and get a gun for $2.
You can, and the thing about Illinois that's different and unique is the crime's happening in like 4 neighborhoods. Right? There's 4 neighborhoods that most of the crime with guns happens. Yeah. Right. And it's in Chicago. You go to the suburbs, you go to the, I mean, I can be in Illinois in 15 minutes and there's not a lot happening there necessarily. So, right. I think you bring up a great point about the states' rights and things like that. I think that's important because if we lose that, then it becomes more of a dictatorship, right? If every state's the same, right? Like, and we don't want that, right?
Yeah, the federal government becomes too powerful. I think a lot of people think they're already too powerful as it is. So it's like, yeah, you get to pick and choose. Like, hey, I'd rather live where I can do this. You know, I don't think you need strict gun laws. But I don't believe in the strict gun laws anyway. But if you're in Montana, you're not going to need New York City laws. That doesn't make any sense. You use it to hunt. There's no one here. Like, what are you worrying about? I can't go into a grocery store with my gun. Of course they do. Yeah. It's part of their culture. Kids shoot. In my culture, there is no ability to shoot a gun. So that's why it's foreign to me compared to like you're in the middle of the Midwest. So if someone that lived in out coast somewhere where shooting is part of your culture, they don't look at a gun and freak out.
Well, I'd go pick up food from restaurants. I'd see people with guns. It's very common for me to see a man with a gun, a kid with a little strap thing. He's got a gun. I see it every day, so I'm kind of numb to it. It's not even like a big thing for me to see somebody with a weapon. You know what I mean? Yeah. So it's all about different things. And I agree with Chi Chops. Like, before you carry a gun, you need to understand law, and you need to understand how it is extremely important. And you should know gun safety, and you should shoot go to the range. And you got to have somebody sign off that you know how to handle it. I believe that.
Yeah,
I believe if you should get a gun in the NYC. You got the class. You should go to a range. Proper safety checks. You do a 30-minute class, an hour class. However, somebody signs off that Hannibal knows how the safety thing works and how to load it. Somebody should sign off on it. I believe that. I do.
Yeah, I think, and I think if you are serious about protecting yourself, you have to learn how to handle the gun, understand your laws, understanding, you have to have a lot of knowledge. I think that's when you get into the gun culture, or at least into guns. You buy one and you want to buy more. I already know this. I don't even have one. I already know that this is going to happen. I'm going to get one. And I'm gonna get another one.
Would the wife get one too? She went to the class with you, I think.
Yeah, we both went. So actually, I don't have her. I didn't download my picture. So when you finish, they give you like a test where you shoot this, like, I don't know. It felt like gunpowder coming out of it, but it wasn't like a gun. But definitely some special whatever. This is my, I guess, passing. I had to shoot 5 rounds.
Okay, let me see. You gonna put it up on the screen?
Yeah. So this is.
Hold on. I asked you if you shot a gun. You said no, but you did shoot a gun.
It's not.
It wasn't a gun. Really.
It wasn't a gun, but it was something that it pierced the paper. So it was some kind of, and
that looks really good.
I wasn't happy with the 2 on the top. I think I started way too high. So Cheeky Chops, don't laugh at me. I was annoyed because I was actually next to my chick. Hers was.
Let me see hers. I got hers.
I gotta find it. Hold on. I'm
Did she do better than you, bro? Did she hit the red?
No, I don't think so.
She did, didn't she? She did.
Hold on a second.
Shout out to Carla. Shout out to Carla.
Yeah, let me see if I can find it. If I can't find it, I'll at least I'll send it to you. Maybe you can put it online. But
when I went to the range, I shot a stormtrooper, and in my old apartment, I had a basement. This is years ago, a long time ago, and going down to the basement, I hung it up in like the little wall going down where the steps are at, and I think I shot 6 shots, and a couple of them didn't hit the paper, and a couple of them hit the paper, and one of them was like right between the eyes. I got lucky. Yeah. I didn't know what I was doing, so I had to hang it up.
Yeah. Aiming is something I got to work on because, come on, guys, it's my first time aiming. So when you're shooting, in terms of which eye you're focusing on, I'm still trying to figure out because if I close one eye and I can, but that's not how reality works. You're not closing one eye while you're shooting. To understand which eye am I using to go to the target. So I think the first 2 was the ones I first started, and I kind of like relaxed a little bit. And because I have good hand-eye coordination. I play too many video games.
It's the video games. Okay.
Right. Well, so I realized, okay, this is how, and also I never shot it before. So it did have some kickback a little bit to it. But there was this guy next to me, and you could tell some of these people already had experience with guns. Cops, certain cops still had to take the tests,
Oh
like to
no,
have.
yeah.
Like, it's
In St.
ridiculous.
Louis, if you're a like a rent-a-cop or security cop, but you carry a weapon, you have to go to classes.
Right.
A buddy of mine does that. He's a cop at a grocery store. He stands out front. He has a gun though, and every so often he has to go and get recertified.
Right.
Yeah.
So this guy next to me, he like 5, all near the red dot. Dave was impressed. He didn't. Dave didn't say how great I was because I guess I almost shot.
I feel so sad for you, Hannibal. So sad. So sad.
My first time, guys. Come on, guys. Don't give me. I'm trying.
I thought that looked good, but I have no idea what is good. But to me, that looked close enough. I mean, listen, you don't need to be perfect. You're just trying to protect yourself. You ain't trying to the guy doesn't need to be shot right here. You just need to hit him somewhere.
Well, yeah, because I'm not going to be. I mean, it's all center mass, right? You don't want to try to shoot a gun off the guy's hand. This is not TV. But yeah, I gain a lot of respect for people who carry guns, who use the weapons. It's not something to be taken for granted. That's what most of the discussion was about. Not necessarily on techniques and tactics or whatever, but just take this shit seriously. And but yeah, listen. Crazy. Hold on a second. You need to go to geometry. First of all, I hated geometry, so maybe that's the reason why. I hate anything doing with
nobody needs that. Nobody needs that. Mess up.
But I would totally kill that piece of paper. That paper.
I mean, dead. You did good. That piece of paper was going to give you a paper cut, son, and you stopped that from happening. Not the first couple of times, but eventually that paper went down, man. You did great, man. You did great.
Yeah. But yeah, focus on your front sight. Cheeky, listen. When I start the gun YouTube channel, whenever that happens, join up. We could talk about some guns because I'm all in. Now this is going to take a very long time. Also, this is going to take a couple of months too.
Really, that long?
Qualify. Yeah. Damn. So first, I gotta go through the concealed license. Now I can apply for the shotgun rifle license. I think I'm saying it correctly. Where that stays in your home. We just have to apply for that so you can get that, have that in your home as well. That's a little faster, I believe. And
you got me wanting to go. I can drive down about 3 or 4 miles up the street. The place where I shot target practice at. Across from that, there's a Mid-America Arms. You're making me tomorrow want to get in my car, fill out the application, buy a gun, and just sit it here and go, here you go. You're saying it's going to take you a couple of months. Well, I feel like I'm just going to get one tomorrow.
Well, please don't just take the gun and slam it on the table, but you should have the gun.
I'm not going to get a gun. I'm good.
No, you're not good. It's all good. But yeah, I think, I think it's, like certain things are just so foreign. Like, I think one of the things I'm going to do in the bucket list is go out, obviously with professionals, and go and hunt something. Just it's so foreign to me. I'm the city boy, right? I don't know what it takes to shoot an animal in the face and then drag it home and skin it and eat it. I'm so far removed. Everything is pre-packaged in the meat section of the grocery store, and there's certain things that I think I should learn. Obviously swimming too, but those things I think are important to have. And my son is acting bougie. I gotta get him to learn about firearms too as well. So those are a few things I need to figure out.
Yeah, I've never been hunting.
No.
I have friends. My brother's hunted. A really good friend of mine hunts a lot, and I've never done it. I don't know if I would. I've gone fishing and caught a fish. That was a big deal for me, bro.
Fishing too. I don't.
Was a big deal. But hunting, I don't know if I would do it. I think I couldn't see myself going hunting and standing in a deer stand and trying to shoot a deer or something like that. It's not my thing.
Why not?
But I don't know. I'm just impatient. I
know what it is.
Bambi.
Listen, guys, Pedro is a softie. Listen, he walks around trying to trick everyone with his I hate Trump stuff and trying to get into fights. But at the same time, he loves everybody. And he loves the little Bambi. He doesn't want to shoot in the face.
What I would rather do, the bird hunting, quail hunting or something would be interesting. That would interest me a little bit more than deer hunting.
That shit looks hard.
But it does. But I think for me, the deer, if you're going to get the meat, the venison, you're going to take it to a processing place and stuff. I can appreciate that because you're going to actually use it for something,
Right.
But I don't know if I need or would want to do those things, right?
Yeah.
But it would definitely be an experience. And I think it's an experience most people should have. But
yeah,
I just haven't done it yet. I think at some point I probably would, though. At some point that's going to, the lines are going to cross with somebody and they're going to be like, hey, we should go hunting. And if it seems right, I probably wouldn't turn it down. So,
yeah. I mean, for me, it definitely be something I want to hunt and consume. The big game hunting, I'm not trying to fucking shoot a lion or
that's weird. That's weird, man. Yeah, that's weird.
We could tell it is for really people who have a lot of money.
A lot of money.
And bragging rights, right? Bring the big head into the house or whatever. Like, oh look, I killed this thing.
Bro, I think if you're shooting lions and tigers and shit, or like in like elephants, nah, I don't. That's not interesting to me at all. That's just too. It's too much for me. It's too much.
And especially a lot of those animals are dealing with a lot as it is. So no, it will be something I would hunt. And I don't mind some duck hunting. That shit looks hard though.
It does look hard.
Ducks, like that. Just the fact we should be shooting, and then once you shoot, everyone knows. Oh, get out of here! Then what are we doing for the rest of the day? Since all.
But I think it gives it an element of like that duck hunt, man. A little fun, It's something moving. You're trying to.
I was never good with duck hunt.
Can you imagine shooting a duck out of the sky? You shoot it and you see it fall. That's pretty awesome.
That's pretty badass. Right? I mean, even that clay shooting is even kind of cool.
People that's what I'm saying. Yes. I would do that all day long. The clay shooting, if I ever had an opportunity to do that, or somebody said, hey, we're gonna go, I would do that in a heartbeat. That seems fun to me. And I believe those are like rifles, right?
Yeah,
those are rifles. Yeah, and that would be fun. I would do that.
I don't know where is that happening?
Connecticut, the Hamptons, like where rich white people are. Yeah,
they're throwing on the
like Rhode Island, Pennsylvania, like places like that.
Pennsylvania, you're right. I did when I did some Airbnb. There were some people definitely to have some guns in there, guns around.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll listen. Guns has become a key part of the show now, guys. As even though I don't have one, and I even finished it.
And guns have become a key part. Neither one of us have guns. He's never shot a gun.
No,
but it's the key part of the show.
Well, as soon as I get this thing, I gotta go to the range. Apparently, you have to clean it every time you shoot. Chicky Chops, you clean every time you shoot your gun? That is annoying.
I think some people do. I don't think everybody does. I wouldn't think everybody.
That's what Dave suggested. It's like, yeah, you should probably clean it every time you shoot. I'm like,
that seems like a job.
Yeah. And you have to take the gun apart, which that part does not irritate me, but it brings my ADHD. Like, I'm gonna not remember how to put this shit back together.
Yeah,
and I'm gonna get frustrated. The shit is not working. Like that part.
See, I'm just like, I'm not trying to be the guy just cleaning it and doing it. I want to be like Carlito Brigante from Carlito's Way. And I just want to have a gun coming out of a pool hall, just shooting. Like, I want to be that guy. I don't want to be the guy like cleaning it up and worrying about a license, and did the instructor give me a green check mark? No. I want to come out blasting if I need to. And I don't want nobody asking me questions. And if something pops off, the gun's going to get broken down like Robert De Niro in Godfather 2, and I'm going to put the parts everywhere. And that's me. That's how I ain't trying to do it the right way, man. No.
Listen, you just like me. We getting all of our references from really good movies.
Great movies.
And that's how we do it. Peppy says shotgun. Clay used shotguns. It's easier because it sprays tiny bullets and covers.
Okay, yeah, area. I feel like that's what I've seen. Yeah.
And Chicky Chop says he doesn't clean every time he shoots. Every 500 rounds or 6 months. Wonder how many rounds I would have to go on the range. I don't know how many times. I don't know. I'll figure all that out.
I don't know either.
But we'll get there. But
at some point in our lives, you and I are gonna go to a gun range, and I think that'll be a fun time.
Absolutely. How is it you could do that in St. Louis?
I could do it tomorrow. I could walk into the place down the street and do it tomorrow. Yeah,
I gotta do that. Yeah,
and I don't even. When I went, I actually shot my boy's, like my friend's gun, because he has a gun.
Yeah.
But I even believe, and I might be wrong, but I don't think I am. I think you could walk in without a gun. And you could go to the range. They have like indoor range. So I could do that tomorrow if I want to.
Nice. Yeah. Did they help you? I know some people say they go to the range to relieve stress. Well, did you, I mean, I'm sure, I don't know if you necessarily having stress, but Does that make sense?
I
Or
think for me, it was more like just hanging out with some of my friends that have guns, but I don't. It wasn't for stressing. It was more the experience when I did it.
okay,
Yeah,
makes
yeah,
sense. Makes sense.
yeah.
So yeah, we'll see. I'll update you guys on that process as well. But in terms of the Olympics, it's interesting. I didn't see
Yeah.
any of the gun stuff until only the memes and the stuff online. I missed
Yeah,
all those
the
games.
Turkish guy. Yeah.
Yeah, I saw some of the bow and arrow joints, which is kind of cool because they actually during every time before someone shot you, I guess they had like a heartbeat monitor,
Mm.
and like people usually the ones that were winning, their shit was like super low, like 80, 90 beats per minute. I'm
Like
like,
they
man,
were
this
calm.
motherfucker is chill. And then you see
Yeah.
someone with like 108, and like this guy, that'd be me. My heart kind of
Oh,
beats.
my heart would be fucking
Yeah,
thumping, man. Oh yeah, 100%,
because also that's
100%.
physically alive, man. Like blood
Yeah,
is rushing, your adrenaline's pumping.
yeah.
But the biggest surprise that I've seen on the Olympics is the fact that Canada is
They
not
lost. I did not, bro.
they're
What the? Yeah.
they're no longer in. That's weird considering we thought, at least I thought,
I thought they were gonna
they were supposed to
be
be able
top.
to hold them. No.
Yeah. So who do we
Serbia is
got?
still
We got USA and Serbia, and I believe we've already beat Serbia once or
yeah,
twice actually, but they've made it to the semifinals. And then Germany and France. So France beat Canada, I think, right, or something.
I
Yeah.
believe so. Yeah.
So I think it's going to be France, and Germany is actually really good. I think they're favored to beat France. I want Victor Wembanyama and those boys to play USA. I think that would be just entertaining, just to see Victor, the
yeah.
young up and coming guy, against all the legends on a USA team. I think that would be phenomenal. That's what I'm looking for. But I think USA is going to win regardless of who they play.
Yeah. After a while I realized that I don't know if it was the first game or the second when when they take it personal, it's pretty much the NBA, the US team is gonna do pretty well. They're
Yeah.
gonna win all the games. They're gonna win the gold. I don't
They
think
haven't lost yet. They haven't lost one game in
yeah.
prelims or the regular rounds.
They especially when the South Sudan game in, it was like, no, we're not even gonna let you. We're gonna embarrass. Not necessarily embarrass. We're gonna dominate. And so I thought maybe it would be before this happened, we thought, you know what, maybe some of these other teams may have a chance if they the USA kind of slacks. It's not happening. Even if there are certain players didn't do as well. I think in the Canada, Jamal Murray didn't play well.
No, Jamal Murray averaged 6 points a game. I think he shot 19% from three, but something crazy like
he
that.
just wasn't in the flow at all. I mean, he's still a great player, but just it's different. It's a different team, different setup. I don't know what went wrong, but if he wasn't going to play well, if it's just HGA just going out there playing, he played well. Like he was doing pretty well. But if Jamal Murray ain't going to play well, what you got? Dylan Brooks?
No, you needed both those guys to do well.
Right. Yeah. So
RJ Barrett, ex-Nick, did really good.
Yeah.
RJ Barrett had a couple of games. He was balling out. Yeah.
Yeah. But the US team, I think two more wins from a gold medal. So
2 more wins. Yeah.
Yeah, I think they got
it tomorrow. I think they play tomorrow. I think they play Serbia tomorrow.
Yeah.
I think so. And
do you think that game is going to be closer because they beat them 110-84 a couple days ago?
I don't know, man. I think it can go either way. I think when you got a guy like Nikola, the Joker, he could go off and have a really dominant game and uplift the guys around him with the passing. And if he's kicking it out and making good decisions, and he does, and those guys are hitting threes and they're playing on a high, and the USA team is not hitting their three, it could be a close game. I could also see the USA winning by 30, So
right, because when a route is happening and everyone is hitting their threes, because that's how the game is now.
Yep.
And the US team have almost damn near everyone that can at least hit an open three because you have to double. Yep. So it can go crazy. It can go left really quick. They play tomorrow at 3 p.m. Eastern. So adjust your time zones for that. So I'll probably have some time. I'll probably be checking that out.
Yeah, for sure.
And then that's followed. So the first game is France versus Germany. That's going to be at 11:30 Eastern, and then the USA Serbia will be at 3. So I've been checking.
Germany is stacked. They play very well together. They're really good. They got some NBA players. I mean, Germany. It's going to be interesting, but I think I want France USA. I think it's just better optically. I think it's Victor. I think it's just good. That's what I'm rooting for. Who knows what could happen? I expect the USA men to win. I didn't think they'd lose any games. They haven't lost yet. They're 2 away from a goal. Kevin Durant, all-time leading scorer in USA men's basketball history. So I think that's pretty amazing. That's awesome.
Yeah.
And I would be shocked if USA didn't win the gold. I'd be really surprised. There's too many guys on that team. There's just too many guys. You know, that made bad things would have to happen. And I think I was watching the game on Saturday a little bit. It was Saturday. Anthony Edwards went off for like 26 points. They were playing Puerto Rico, right? And Ant looked great, right? But the next, like the game versus Serbia, it could be any of these 12 guys that could go off. You know, so they're just so stacked that I don't think they're going to lose.
I think if KD, the only way it'll go weird, KD has to get hurt. Like it has to be something where, because I think at this point KD is so automatic with the and also the style of the rules they play. I think like these pure scorers just dominate. Like Carmelo Anthony was dominating in Olympics. It's just that kind of style. He's bigger, stronger. He can shoot over everybody. I think it just lends itself for the Olympic style game that more. I don't really call it European style, but
it's more open. That you don't have. I don't believe there's a 3-second thing. So like the centers and things can clog the lane more.
Right.
So that it opens the court up situationally for pure scorers and one-on-one players.
Right.
And I think that's kind of speaks to what you're talking about.
Yeah. So I definitely think they're probably going to win. Bobby says blame coaching if the NBA if the USA don't win. I know. I mean, there was some people were a little bit critical of Steve Kerr, but I think there's so much talent. They'll win, and then once it gets the Olympics, or then once they win the gold, who's going to remember Steve Kerr's coaching?
Nobody. As long as they win the gold. If they don't win, it's a problem. If this team does not win, it is a problem. People will take heat. LeBron James haters will be so happy. Like it'll be a big deal. Yeah.
Yeah. And also, this is probably last Olympics for LeBron. So, he'll sit there, get his last, what do you call it? Last hurrah as this weird season is going to come down, and we'll see, man.
Do you think Bronny James is going to play with his dad that's coming up here, based on, he's the NBA, the summer league, and he had like one decent half basically, and then he had some games that really. Do you think he's going to play with his dad this year?
Probably.
You think so?
Yeah, they'll probably win. Hector asks, do you know who the last Knicks captain? No clue. Considering,
do they not have a captain every year? Is that not a thing?
That's why that news to me.
Captain. Let me take some guesses. We should look it up. I'm going to take a guess or two. Who is the last Knicks captain? It can't be somebody.
Wait. So in the Yankees, they have a captain every year, right?
Well, I know Derek Jeter was the captain for just about every year he played.
Yeah.
With the Knicks, I think we got to go back. I'm going back to those 90s teams. Was Mark Jackson a captain? I don't know why. That's who I want to say. Or Clyde Fred. I want to say Mark Jackson. I could be wrong.
Okay,
that's my guess.
All right. Well, problem is Hector already put the answer in.
Oh, I didn't see it.
Apparently, this is so Brunson being the captain for the next upcoming season. It's the first time the Knicks. Yeah, I'm gonna click Lance Thomas because I barely remember who he is.
Are you serious?
This is the first time the Knicks had a captain since the 2018-2019 season where Lance Thomas. Who is Lance Thomas?
I remember the name, but he wasn't good. But you don't have to be good to be a captain necessarily. But he wasn't like a top guy. Is Hector trolling us? That can't be real.
No, he's correct. I just looked.
He was like a power forward or something. He was a big guy.
Who does he look like?
Lance Thomas was. I feel like he was a forward, like a low fade, kind of muscular a little bit, light skin, a little light skin.
I feel bad. He's from Brooklyn, New York. God, I should already know who he is. This is embarrassing. It may be my.
That's probably why he was a captain. Yeah, defensive power forward. So yeah, I remember this guy. I remember him. He wasn't like good. I mean, He's
No, but
NBA, but he doesn't.
dude, I don't remember. But remember, this must be the dark days of the NBA, especially for the Knicks,
For
where
the
he
Knicks.
like I don't remember. That was
15 points a game. Well, he did that for maybe 1 or 2 years, not for his career.
how many?
Lance Thomas. Okay, yeah, he wore number
Okay.
40 something. Come on.
So he won. He won at Duke. He got 2010.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, I don't. I don't remember him at all.
That's crazy.
He played for the Pelicans. And then he played for the Thunder. Then he went to the Knicks, became captain. Then he played for the Brooklyn Nets 2020, and then that was the last hit. That was the last. He's out the league.
I mean, so okay, to be a captain of the team, you don't have to be the best player, but usually, like you're one of the top guys, and usually you're with the team for a while. But that's a very obscure. That's a great trivia question, Hector.
But they said that he was named so he was a captain. They said co-captain with Courtney Lee. Now I remember Courtney Lee.
I remember Courtney Lee. Yeah,
I remember him. He was definitely around the league for a while. Played decently. He has some decent games. But Lance Thomas.
Lance Thomas. That's
so and Hector knew that immediately. So like Hector, Nick's historian. Like he knows all of that.
Hey, listen, before we go, I want to talk a little bit about we've been talking about the Olympics. The track and field's been crazy, bro. It's been good. It's been so good. Shout out to Noah Lyles. He's got a lot of hate.
Yeah, he got it done.
He got it done. Photo finish. I mean, amazing. Gabby Thomas. There was a guy today. I saw a clip. I don't know if his last name was Hall or anyways. He came from like 5th place, won the 400 meter gold medal.
Another American.
Americans are killing it right now. We lead in golds. We lead in total medals. So it's been a solid Olympics to this point. It's still close in some medals, but the track and field and the gymnastics have really led the way. So it's been good to watch. I like it. It's been good.
I think they it's always been that way for a while in terms of the most exciting events is the track and field stuff. It's the swimming. Swimming, I think that's kind of slowed down. Obviously, that's finishing up. The gymnastics slowing down. So now you got obviously the volleyball. I think that actually the U.S. men's volleyball team, they lost semifinals to Poland. I was actually watching the game earlier. I thought the USA was going to win. But Polish don't play around, and they kind of came back and beat the U.S. I was kind of surprised. I was watching. I'm like, oh, it's like they're gonna win, but like, nope. I did not see any breakdancing. Still in. Is that happening?
Yeah, I haven't seen any either. Yeah,
I have no idea.
Oh, it starts on Friday. That's going to be awesome. So Friday. Okay, we got a couple days. All right.
Okay, so we're gonna see.
And right now, we should get a men's gold in basketball and a women's gold in basketball.
Women's are dominant. They beat,
and then we should continue to get a couple more golds in the men's 200, women's 200. So I think there's some golds to be had still, but I think it's been an entertaining Olympics. I think there's been a lot of controversy, but at the end of the day, I've seen some events and I've been fine with it. I've been entertained. Yeah, so that's all that matters to me.
The one I'd never heard this man before, but he may be one of the greatest Olympians of all time. There is a Cuban wrestler, and I just want to show him real quick before we leave because I think this is worth talking about for a second. This dude over here, man, won 5 straight gold medals in the same individual event.
He's a wrestler?
As a wrestler. I think it's super heavyweight. 41 years old from Cuba.
So the last 20 years? Holy shit, that's crazy.
Dominating for
what's the weight class? Is he heavyweight?
Let me see my track.
Can't be heavyweight.
I don't know what kilogram is, guys. I think it means heavyweight because 230 kilograms is pretty fucking heavy. So he's probably heavyweight. He this guy has.
There was a heavyweight Olympian guy that beat Russian years ago, and that was a huge upset. He can't be a heavyweight. He has to be the class below that. Because I remember a dude, a guy from like Iowa beat a guy from Russia that had never lost, and it was a huge upset. So this guy has got to be right below heavyweight.
But he won in 2018, 2012, 2016, 2020. And obviously, and the thing is, after he won the last match, he retires. So this dude over here, this guy has to be one of the greatest. Like, who does that in terms of the same individual event?
That long? I don't think. I mean, maybe in some very obscure events that that aren't mainstream, but that's impressive, man. That's crazy.
Greco-Roman wrestler.
Yeah.
And it's interesting. He didn't go like to MMA or anything like that, but that's dominance.
That's crazy.
Dominance from obviously that many years, from basically when he's 20s to 41 years old, then retires on top. He's like, after he won his final match, he left his wrestling shoes on the mat and walked off. That's fucking badass.
That's gangster.
Yeah.
I mean, because you got to think, if he's 20 or so when he's the first time he won, he's been training obviously since he was a kid. So his 30 years probably, and he's on top for that long. That's amazing.
Definitely the most dominant Cuban athlete in terms of at least wrestling, and even But shout out to I can't pronounce his first name, so I won't. But Mr. Lopez, appreciate it. But on that note, guys, appreciate you guys hanging out, talking about guns, and make you guys laugh with my shooting abilities.
Yeah,
I appreciate that. Again, props to Hector. We definitely gotta get that next YouTube, at least the episode that we talk about Jeremy Lin.
We got to get to Lin San. We got to get that, because you know what I'd like to do is interview y'all about that, because as an outsider, I don't get it, but y'all lived it. And I asked Hector on Monday. I said, listen, do you think this would have been as big of a deal if he wasn't Asian? Because I think it's a big deal because he was Asian. I think if he was a black dude or white guy, this wasn't as still.
I think if he was a white guy, it'd be a big deal.
Maybe if it was a black dude, it's not, because that's happened before.
Really?
It's happened. Yeah, I think we've had some guys
that just played really well for like a few games, and then like that was it.
Yeah, it happens every year.
Now, football players, one game.
It happens every year.
It
happens every year. A guy kind of plays good. It happens all the time. Yeah.
Dropping 30 on the Lakers and Kobe. No, I don't think it happens every year.
It happens every year. What are you talking about? Every year a guy can drop 30.
I guess the context of a struggling team, a guy comes literally off someone's couch. The star player gets hurt. He comes in and starts destroying for a very small amount of time. I don't know. You know what? We'll do some more research. I'll do some research.
I could be the one that interviews y'all and ask some questions. I think it would be a fun conversation. I know Hector's down. I think it could be interesting because it's a phenomenon. He was a phenomenon. I don't want to take that. He's an NBA champion. He was a ball player. I mean, he was good. He wasn't just like over the night success. So I think, to your point, I understand what you're saying. But it was a weird phenomenon, and we haven't seen it since. And that's what's very fascinating.
Like, I haven't. Usually, if someone starts playing well, they can sustain it.
Yeah.
Oh, that guy's actually pretty good. Yeah, he may have he wasn't drafted or second round, but yeah, everyone missed him, right? Everyone missed the guy. All the GMs are getting mad, throwing punches in the air. So it is interesting. We definitely got to talk about that. But
I think the one thing that I would say, so Hector's saying we'll never see it in sports history. The one athlete that is similar is Johnny Manziel. He won a Heisman. The Johnny Manziel mania was big. I think that's the one guy that I
thought he was going to be the next. I don't know what
he wasn't. So I think that's the one that the phenomenon, the fandom, the immediate rise of attention, but obviously different sport, different perspective, different everything, right? He played at Texas A&M. They weren't really that good. He made them good. The Knicks have been great, and Jeremy Lin gave him a pop of relevancy again. But we definitely got to have that live. I think that could be fun. So
definitely. Last question: what y'all eating for dinner tonight? What do you have for dinner?
Bro, this is gonna be funny. I had 3 hot dogs. Listen, check it out. So I made 4 hot dogs. I gave 1 to my kid, and I had 3. I had 2 with no bun, and then I had 1 with a bun. That was my dinner tonight because I had the hot dogs. I bought a pack of Nathan's. I gotta eat them, so I had.
Listen. Makes sense. Glizzy champion.
I gotta eat them. I don't waste food, bro. I can't waste food.
Makes sense. Yeah. I had a steak and a baked potato, so I kept it.
Boy, You bougie.
I haven't had a steak in a while.
Hannibal's just low key. You know, I just had a steak with a baked potato. I'm eating hot
American.
dogs, bro.
I'm gonna listen. Soon I'm gonna put my revolver on the table, eat my steak, go outside, shoot target practice in Brooklyn. I'm sure
I love that. I love that for you. I love that.
We'll figure that out. But appreciate you guys for hanging out with us, and we'll see you on Monday. Peace.
He's gonna put his Glock